This has been a long time coming. About 2 months ago, I went to Wylie ISD's school board meeting and I spoke out. I went because I was outraged, as all of us are, that 4 adult Islamic proselytizers were allowed to come in to a public school in the middle of the day full of school children. 4 adult professional proselytizers with Qurans, hijabs, a Shahada card, which is how you pray to receive Muhammad to become a Muslim. Passing out pamphlets on understanding Sharia, as in Sharia law, candy, and Why Islam bags. And the Why Islam group that is responsible for these professional proselytizers, there's a lot of ties to them that are bad. We'll talk to a student. So anyways, 2 months ago, I went to Wylie ISD to speak. I knew none of these folks. I went there. They don't know me. I don't know them. Some of the people know that I have been on the radio here in Dallas-Fort Worth for 15 plus years. And I think they were just a little skeptical, like, okay, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But after I spoke, I befriended these folks, and we stayed in touch. And then a month later was the school board meeting, the next one, because they did nothing. Wylie East did nothing. And we'll get into that in a second, but they literally have fired nobody for allowing this. It's unthinkable and unbelievable. But when you hear the full story, you'll understand more why this is happening and why it's going to get worse, a lot worse. And it's not just in Wylie ISD in suburban Dallas-Fort Worth. That is next. My guest, Marco Hunter Lopez, in just a second, is a student. And I think the reason his dad wanted to get to know me because he's protecting his son, which is exactly what I would do. And by the second school board meeting, since they had done nothing, I went back and I told him, I said, this is really special because I have friends now. These folks, those aren't the only friends I have, but I have friends now. These folks are my friends. And so we've really developed a relationship, and we stay in touch. We hold each other accountable we hold the people out there accountable. And it's a remarkable group of folks. So with that, let me start the show. This show is brought to you by IRSprob.com. That's IRSprob.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. Randy Martin has been my CPA for over 9 years. He's my tax planner. He's for my business, my wife's business, and you need to use him too if you have any troubles or want a good tax planning strategy. Without any further delay, here is Marco Hunter Lopez. Marco, first of all, thanks for joining Croc Talk with Chris Croc. It's been a long time in coming. Here we are.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to get into it.
You know, what I like is that there's not a rush here, and so we're going to be telling a story, and that is what I think is so dangerous to the left and to the people at Wylie ISD that are responsible for this, is that the full story will be told. And everything that I've seen from Wylie ISD so far has been nothing but attacks, denial, mocking, etc. So first of all, I'm going to play the video of you because I was sitting right where I'm sitting right now in my home studio, and I see a video of you, and it was the night it was released, and I did not believe it. I thought, this is fake. There is no way a school district, let alone a public school district, let alone in Texas, let alone in Dallas-Fort Worth, where we are a red state, that this would happen, that Qurans, hijabs, and other things were passed out in the middle of a school to you. But little did I know that 24 hours later, it was true. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. And you were the one who went on social media with some adults to say what had happened. You made this happen. And so let's play that original video. I'm stealing this from last night. You were on Newsmax. Finity,
Yes.
I believe it was, or yeah, it was one of those shows, right? So anyways, let me play this for you, for folks to see the beginning of what started this all. You at your school.
Today there was an organization called Why Islam, and they were giving hijabs to Muslim girls out throughout the high school, and they were giving out Qurans, and they also had pamphlets about Sharia law and other Islamic things, and they were giving out these bags. And I had a discussion with the women that were there, and we're trying to understand what's going on.
Like what? How crazy is that? That's in Texas at a high school. I got so many emails last night from people in Texas saying this kind of thing is happening. An Islamic group called Why Islam was allowed to hand out free Qurans and pamphlets on Sharia law, like that's a good thing, on World Hijab Day, which is not a real thing. There's no such thing as World Hijab Day. And the high school allowed all of this during lunchtime. Why Islam deliberately allowed to indoctrinate kids at a public high school, which parents and students there are clearly against.
Let me, we're going to play some of that video back, but I want to get into this, Marco. So how did this happen? This is about what, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago? Tell me how this happened. What were you doing and how did you discover this?
So this was on February 2nd. So that was about 2 months ago. I was actually leaving a club meeting and I was headed to lunch, like a normal day to go get lunch. And I
Hmm.
passed the front of the school, which is the cafeteria, like the entrance, and I see a big booth that says Islam at the front of it. And it really caught my eye.
You see a big booth that says
Yeah.
Islam. You are in a public
Yes.
school. You're 15, right?
Yes, I'm 15.
Yes, you're 15, but you act like an 18 or 19-year-old. In my opinion, you're very well versed, and you're a gentleman. You're more of a gentleman than I am sometimes. In the heat of it, and so you see a freaking large sign that says "Why is or Islam?" It just says Islam,
It just says Islam. This one did, yes.
and you're in a
And
public school.
yes, it was very surprising. I had to do this. And I went to go, so I was eating lunch and I was talking with my friends and we were all just looking over in confusion and shock. And we really didn't want to give it attention, but we kind of agreed as a friend group, well, let's go check this out. Let's go see what's going on. And so I walk up and I see one of the women, placing the hijab on a student and showing them how to wrap it and everything. And then I
Oh
see
my
the
gosh.
Qurans. Yeah, and I see the spinning wheel they have for the candy. And I look over and there's about 8 or 9 different pamphlets on different Islamic topics. One titled Understanding Sharia, which I have the pamphlet right here.
I want you to tell me about that in a minute, but go ahead.
Yes, so I noticed this after, but if you look at the bottom of the pamphlet, it says an INCA project,
Okay,
which
that's what we
is the
need to know.
Islamic Circle of North America,
Okay.
which has some ties. If you have the time, the viewers, if you
Yes, we
have
do.
time, look up what that entails, that organization. So I'm looking at this and I'm the person that likes to have conversation with people I have different disagreements with, whether it's
Right.
religion, whether it's politics. I love having discussions. And so I'm talking with the 4 women that were there and talking with them about theology and breaking things down just
Let
because
me
I
pause
love
you real
talking.
fast. Let me pause
Hmm.
this real fast. Going back a second, because you literally are come out of come out of the other room or whatever, and come in the lunchroom. You're
Hmm.
coming out and you see Islam, and you see presumably Americanized, American. I don't know if it's white or whatever, but you see these girls that are probably not Muslim, and there you see
Hmm.
Muslims putting hijabs on them, and you
Yes.
see Islam, and you're like, I mean, this is like a nightmare. Is this not like a nightmare? And
It's
what isn't it? I mean, like what the? I mean, this is like a freaking dream.
I mean, it's not just me. I mean, the students I was with, they were shocked as well. They were concerned as well, especially when I saw Sharia. That's kind of what all culminated. I'm like, I have researched Sharia on my own, and I know what
Yes,
some of the stuff that Sharia teaches, and it's concerning, first of all. And so that night, I went to the Collin County Republican Party precinct meeting, which I go to every month. I was just at it this
okay,
past Monday.
okay,
And I went to a few precinct chairs. I went to Kyle KD Sims as a special guest
yes,
on the show, uh, sometimes. And I said, hey, this is what happened at school today. I asked KD, hey, maybe you want to spread this online, just because he has a good online presence.
yes,
And all the precinct chairs I was talking to, and one of the chairwoman of the Denton County Republican Party suggested we do a video right on the spot,
yes,
which I wasn't prepared for. I was in my baseball clothes. It was right after a game.
yeah,
But I was like, I called my dad, which was in the truck waiting for me, and
yes,
I said, obviously, because I can't drive yet, and I said, hey, can we do a video? Can I do a video real quick? We were thinking we are gonna get what, a 50 to 100 views. I get home that night. General Mike Flynn is posting it.
yes,
Senator John Cornyn is posting
yes,
it. So this is going everywhere. By the time I get home, it's got hundreds and thousands of views, and so it
yes.
blew up quickly. And thanks to independent journalists,
Hmm.
more and more has been dug up on the Islamification of the school district, such as now halal meals, having to accommodate that.
Let me show
Um,
that menu. Let me show that menu.
hmm
This is the halal menu that is in your school district. Here we go. All right, so it shows right there, Marco. It says on the yellow bottom part, it says introduction of halal certified menu items, and uh yes, so they're serving halal.
Yes. This is the funny thing is the school district is trying to play this off as an isolated incident. This is not an isolated incident. And n- just how we have the halal, we have photos from previous years of our principal wearing a hijab.
Let's show that
Two
one.
years
Let me
ago.
show. Yeah,
Yes,
let
let's
me
show
show that
that.
one because here's what I rocketed on. Here's what I zoomed in on, and I went nuts on the first sign of all this. I saw when she posted that. I saw the date, and I saw that it said it was World Hijab Day. 1 year to the day was Sunday.
hmm
So Sunday was supposedly World Hijab Day, which may not even be a real thing unless you're Muslim, I suppose.
hmm
And because it ain't nothing for you or me, your family, my family. But they're gonna make us in our public school, right? So, but
Yes.
1 year to the day was Sunday. Monday is when professional adult Islamic proselytizers came in, and you saw them. That's when this happened. So this was all about, in my opinion, and we'll get to this a little bit more in a minute, but your principal was wearing this hijab. Let me show the picture for folks because it's unreal. This principal, I know she graduated. It said she graduated from DBU, Dallas Baptist University, which is a great school. But that is just because you graduated from there doesn't mean you're practicing, your faith, putting hijabs on. Here we go. Let me show this. This is her. There she is, Principal Tiffany Doolin, your principal still to this very day, tweeting out on her official account, Raider Nation Principal, saying that the beauty. Okay, let me read this. It's unthinkable. Yesterday, our Muslim Student Association created an opportunity for everyone to experience the beauty, and I'll put this in, the beauty of being treated like cattle, the beauty of wearing hijab on World Hijab Day, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I loved, all caps, this experience. She loved it. 1 year later, 4 adult professional Muslims were proselytizing, passing out Qurans, hijabs, and you saw that Islam thing. You said, what in God's name is this? Now, do you believe it was a coincidence that your teacher, your principal, 1 year later, this happens in her school?
No, and this is really a coordinated effort because I believe 2 years ago it was a table and one student. Last year it was a table and two students. This year it was a booth with 4 adults. What is it going to be next year? And it's very ironic because I can guarantee you, even in lowercase, our principal wouldn't say, I love conservatives, I love Christians. I don't believe that would happen
Right.
because the school administrators I have a detailed and documented timeline from August 16th of 2024 to this date with
Yeah.
at least 55 instances of hostility, censorship, pushback, and even violated laws towards me or my group at the school. And so they're very hostile towards conservatives. But if it's Sharia law, they got arms wide open.
What did you want to continue with your discussion with them at the booth? And if you don't have anything more to say, that's fine. But
Yes.
you went up to them, and again, they got a big, massive banner that says Islam. They've got
Mm-hmm.
they've got 4 Muslim adult professional proselytizers with a group called Why Islam, which is run by a group called the Islamic what's ICNA,
Circle
Islamic
of North America.
Circle of North America, which has ties to some bad stuff from what I understand. Um,
Yes.
and they're putting hijabs on girls. There you go. And is that the Quran they gave you
This is the Quran from their booth. And I can
in a
show you the
public school?
Shahada card in it.
Real fast, but I want hold it up again though. Hold up the Quran, just the Quran itself. I want everybody to see this is what is passed out in your child's public schools. If you're in Wylie ISD, this is what is material that is given to your child in a public school. Behold. Go ahead, show me the Shahada card because this blew me
No,
away, and I'm going to zoom in on it after you
yes.
show it to us. Go ahead.
This is the card that they want you to recite to become
Right.
Muslim. Bear witness to Muhammad and this
Let me
proclamation.
let me show people that. I'm going to pull it up on my outfit here. So there it is. There's the Shahada card, and it says right there. I just got my here we go. I got my contacts put into first time ever I get contacts in, so I'm struggling a little bit. But it says, I bear witness that there is no God, which Allah is a false God, no God worthy of worship except God. I bear witness that Muhammad was the messenger of God. That is what you are being taught. That is what is allowed. That is what is being passed out, that you will worship this God. And this God is
Yes.
great, and you will cover your beauty. You will treat women in Islam are worth half of what a man is worth in court, is what Sharia is. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I guess the great thing is if you want to be able to carry all that in one thing, you can get a bag too. And so
They
this
gave you
is
that.
what, they gave me that and they package it up like you're at the grocery store and you got all your groceries. And so it's very coordinated, very widespread. So one of the ladies that I was speaking to, there was one that I was asking theological questions to, and she
Good.
seemed very dismissive, and she didn't really want to talk about it. So they kept calling over this one lady that I guess they would consider an elder because she knew most of the theological stuff.
Wow.
And I was talking with her with one of my friends, and she said, quote, "We don't need Jesus." And she said this to us in front of students. And so this was not, oh, just educating on Islam. This was dawah. This was the principles of the organization that was there. Why Islam?
Dawah is
And
Islamic proselytizing. It is
yes,
trying to bring others into Islamic faith.
yes. And I don't know if we're gonna get to it, but I mean I would
We're
love
gonna
to
get
talk
to it.
about
We're gonna get to it all.
I'd love to talk about the school board and their complete
We
lack of
yeah.
accountability too. So
Well, I mean, I witnessed it because on the first day they played the game, but one of the school board members rolled his eyes at you. But I'm going to hold that
yes,
off for a second. We're going to show that video that you provided for me. And then a month later, they attacked. Like, for example, I don't know if you saw the Wylie School Board after I spoke out the second time because they've not fired anybody. They attacked
yes,
me. They wrote a freaking. I called it a novella. They wrote a small
yes,
book
I saw. Yeah, that was
attacking me.
long. I think my reading teacher would have given that a great essay grade.
Absolutely.
But there
So
was one
so
part that he would take points off when they said neither is true. I couldn't understand that grammar. That was pretty
yes.
funny.
So I'm going to say this. So I spoke the second time because no one's been fired, no accountability's been had on your school district, and you agree with me on that, right, Marco?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
100%. Yes.
Okay. So I spoke out the second time, and I said, nobody's been fired. Fired the principal. I believe she's responsible. We'll get into that in a minute. And they in response to my speech, they went through and listen. I have spoke out, and I've been a talk show host in Middle Missouri, my first job in Jefferson City, Missouri, then in Madison, Wisconsin, where I did a lot of stuff with school boards and calling out a lot of stuff. Then I was on to Minneapolis, St. Paul, then Atlanta, Georgia, and then Middle Georgia for a layover, and then back here back to DFW for 15 years. I have never seen, nor have I ever been aware, because I mean, I got a massive event canceled at the crazy leftist Madison School Board, Madison School District in Madison, Wisconsin, which is like Berkeley, as you know,
Hmm.
I'm sure. And it was because the whole thing was their policy says teaching shall be free from bias, and it was bias teaching, and we got this whole stuff canceled. But I've never seen a school board take apart and attack a speaker on a public website that I've never seen that. And the fact that it was so long, it was like how many. So here's my question to you: how many people were in a room, and how long do you think it took to write that up?
Oh man, they were probably there overnight. I'm not sure.
It's just
Yeah, that took
crazy.
it. Yeah, and they did it. They did it to you. They responded to Leland Sanders, who
Yeah.
is the 12-year-old that also spoke out, saying that he's misunderstanding the incident because he's not a student. They called out a Josephine City Council member, saying they're disappointed in her. So this is they're very on offense right now.
Don't they claim they're very? And don't instead of firing the principal, who I believe is responsible, do you believe Principal Tiffany Doolin is responsible for allowing these professional proselytizers to come in 1 year after she wore the hijab in the same day?
100%.
Okay, so let me go over that again. This is very, very critical. You believe your principal, Tiffany Doolin, I'll show the picture again of her with the hijab a year ago. You believe that this principal, Tiffany Doolin, your current principal, at Wylie East High School in Wylie, Texas, allowed professional adult proselytizers to come in and try to turn you into an Islamic man, young man.
Yes, so she was actually there in the cafeteria that day, and she
Are
saw
you
it.
kidding me?
Oh, she was there. She saw it. She was looking at it. She was smiling and everything. She was there.
Holy crap.
And the funny thing is that I made the video that night, and it
Hmm.
went viral that night. So I guarantee you, if I probably waited a day, she would have posted it again. That
Wow.
probably would have happened. So she was there. There was multiple other administrators there, and they were just. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, one of the administrators had one of the bags too. So this is widespread. The principals are looking everywhere. Miss Doolin was there looking, all fine and dandy. This is great. So yes, they
What
were there
other
that day.
administrator, if you're comfortable saying it, was there?
I saw. Yes, Miss George was there.
Who's Miss
Um,
George?
she's an assistant principal. And
Okay.
I really have. I go to school every day hoping to
Yeah.
build great relationships with
Yes.
students, with teachers, with administrators. I have to walk. So I want to get to this. The school board says that the best way to communicate with them is through offline, which is through email.
Yeah.
I've emailed every single school board member 2 weeks ago with a follow up, and they still have not responded to me about how the principal treats me in the hallways. I was actually at lunch the other day, and my friend called over the principal to say hi. She turns around quickly with a big smile, stops towards our table. Right when she sees me, she turns around real quickly and walks off. So they're
Principal Tiffany
very
Doolin.
hostile towards me. It's actually been so bad that a teacher has asked if I'm okay because they've noticed how the administrators look at me.
This is I'm gonna tell you something. This is not gonna end well for them because I don't my wife likes to call me a pit bull, and I am for the right reasons. Sometimes,
Hmm.
for the wrong reasons. That's when she gets. I get in trouble with her. But this is not going to go away, and I will work with you in any way I can. One of the things I've thought about is I want to give away Bibles. I don't want to get arrested for trespassing, but I want to give away a ton of Bibles and proselytize. And I'll talk to your dad about that. See if there's a way you guys would be interested in doing something, because we need to stand up to this.
Yes.
And the other thing, I want people to know how much of a decent and good young man you are in the middle of all of our discussion here. When I first was there that first time, I was getting a little ruckusy in the crowd, in the audience, and you were sitting next to me and you said, shh. And I was like, this kid's got it. And by the way, a humble person says, you know what, he's right. Shh. And I did. I shh a little bit. Then I piped back up again. If my wife was there, she'd whack me on the side, side of the shoulder. But okay, so this is insane. So Assistant Principal George was there. Principal Tiffany Dillon was there. They've not been fired. How much bigger up do you think? How much higher does this go? Do you think it ends with Tiffany Dillon, or do you think it's above her, where the green light for go Islam, Islam invade, Islam preach, Islam proselytize? Do you think this goes above the principal?
So as for the school itself, the buck stops with her. But
Right.
in terms of the evidence that we have and all the experience we have, it seems like these district administrators and the school board seem to be some sort of complicit in it because they seem to take not want to take further action or meaningful action because everyone's calling for it. And so I know the buck stops with her at the school, but in terms of the
Yes.
school board and the district administration, I think that they're okay with this as well because they haven't done anything.
Right. And then I heard that the school board tries to act like they're conservatives, but they're not.
No, I mean if they really were, I feel like they would have stood up for me day one when my club wasn't getting approved, but they didn't. And I think that a school board member wouldn't be
Your
laughing.
Republican student club. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, it took us 2 years in a row to have to get approved. And if they were really conservative, I don't think one of the school board members would be laughing at our club when Katie
Let's
Sims was
play that
explaining.
at the school board meeting. We'll jump around a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna get to everything tonight. Let me play this for you. Here is this. What's the school board member Day? What's his first name?
I believe it's Jacob Day, Dr. Jacob Day.
Dr. Jacob Day. As you were speaking, and you spoke very eloquently and you were very gentlemanlike, and you're speaking, and he rolls his eyes and seemingly laughs at you.
And the stuff that he had to go through to do that.
Okay, that's actually, I'm sorry, he's laughing at Katie Sims, but he's talking about what you had to
Yes.
go through what you had to go through to make a Republican club, and he rolls his eyes and laughs at you.
And the stuff that he had to go through to do that.
There he is, mocking you, laughing at you as if it was. Do you unequivocally think that he's laughing at you right there?
Yes, I do, because the evidence is there. They didn't want to help us out. I had to call Congressman Self. I had to get State Representative Candy Noble. I had to talk to precinct chairs, chairman. We had to go to the school board meeting with dozens of people to get our club approved. To even and the ironic thing is that not only were we not approved, we're not supported. We're not, you know, they don't advance our group like the Muslim Student Association or other groups like they did with the Diversity Club. But with us, they had to struggle with even us saying that we wanted a group. That was threatening to them that we even wanted a conservative group on campus.
So that's just another thing to think about here and talk to you about, because but let's go to the permission slip. You cannot adults cannot come into campus or enter your campus without approval and a slip that's been signed, or a piece of paper that has been
Yes.
signed by a whole bunch of people. I want to show that and talk about that. Can you hold for just a second? I gotta stop for a minute for our
Yes.
sponsors. Okay. This, of course, is Marco Hunter Lopez, 15-year-old student with a massive future ahead of him. Conservative, Republican club there, was the one that broke out, shared that the Islamization was going on there at Wylie High School, Wylie East. They were passing out Qurans, hijabs. We continue on just a moment.
And
The first
the
thing I want
stuff
to
that
do,
he had to go through to do that.
hold on. Let me get my little, I'm bass backwards here. Hold on one second. Hold on. There we go. This show is brought to you by IRSprob.com. That's IRSPROB.com, as Randy, my CPA, Randy Martin, so eloquently says. IRSPROB.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. Randy's incredible. And even when we mess up on our taxes and have to redo stuff, Randy is really incredible. But if you have problems with the IRS, if you need a tax planner, he is your guy, and he is wonderful. I'm friends with every single person in that office. I have all their phone numbers on my cell phone. We're all friends, and I give them hugs whenever I visit. That's the kind of place it is. And they're local, Dallas, Fort Worth. All right, so you can also call them at 214-214-3000. That's 214-214-3000, irsproud.com. Tell them Chris Crock sent you. Now, this house that I'm sitting in right now with this awesome studio that God gave me, every single plumbing issue has been done by Due West Foundation of Plumbing. Every single foundation issue has been done by Due West. When I bought this house, before I bought the house, Due West checked it out. They did the static test for plumbing. They did the foundation inspection, and they told me what I needed to do. I needed to get root shields to protect my house underneath the foundation. They put the root shields in. They replaced 15 or 17 foot of pipe under my house. They replaced my water heater. Also, any plumbing things, it's Due West. Jim Dutton is the owner of Due West, and Jim is a friend of mine. My wife even worked there for a couple years earlier on. And Jim hosts Texas Home Improvement on many radio stations in Dallas and Houston, all over the place. And he's an amazing man. And it's a multi-generational business. I'm friends with his sons, Adam and Johan. His wife, Mary, is good friends with my wife. If you want the best, call Due West, du-west.com. That's du-west.com, or call 972-406-0912. 972-406-0912. Let's get back to Marco Hunter Lopez, a 15-year-old student at Wylie East High School who saw and came upon the Why Islam. You know what was also disturbing to me, Marco? Distributing the Qurans, the hijabs, and understanding Sharia. And don't we forget, we got to talk about what the pamphlet said on understanding Sharia.
Yes.
There was a young girl, probably 17 or something, white chick, and she was interviewed by CBS 11 when this was busting wide open, and she's like, I don't see what the big deal is. Like, Christians, they proselytize. I don't see what the big deal. I'm like, you don't understand that professional proselytizers that do this for a living were allowed in your school to convert people to Islam? Are you crazy?
Yeah, that was something I saw the CBS
Yeah, you saw
11
that too.
story come out. Yes, and I saw that um that's everyone is entitled to what they believe, but
Right,
it is my responsibility
right,
to go and look deeper into what things mean. And if other
right,
people don't do that, that's not my fault. I represent the facts. If people don't look further into it, that's not my fault.
right. So,
Mm-hmm.
let me get back into a few things here. Let me show I wanted to show the. This is a piece of paper that must be signed, in Wylie ISD for any adult that's supposed to visit and be a guest speaker, any adult coming into the premises that's not an employee, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to show this right now. There is supposed to be a sponsor signature right there. Then you're supposed to have a principal approved. Then you're supposed to have the student services approver. So you're literally supposed to have 3 signatures on that. And Marco, let me ask you a question. Have you seen the sheet, that sheet for Why Islam? Have you seen them getting that sheet, and have you seen proof that somebody signed off on it?
I have not, and it's ironic because me as a president of the Republican Student Club, we have guest speakers. We actually have Representative Jeff Leach coming soon.
Yeah.
We had Congressman Self is coming. We had Michael Slaughter running for county commissioner came. I had to skip my lunch sometimes to fill out paperwork for them 2 weeks in advance. I have to make sure I text them. I texted Representative Carissa Richardson today asking for all the information for background checks. So I'm on top of it. And
And by the
when
way,
other
Angela
groups aren't doing
Paxson,
this,
you also said
yes,
State Senator
yes,
Angela Paxson, who everybody
yes,
knows the Paxsons, now
yes.
unfortunately separated, but divorced, but she had to get approved through this.
Oh, it was, I mean, it's a lengthy process. And I actually had the original email last year of the assistant principal, Zachary New, emailing me that our club can't have guest speakers, but meanwhile, 4 people can just walk in. So again, it's a double standard. But I've gotten FOIA requests from friends showing me that I don't have the information of these women that walked in, and I
So,
don't see any forms that were filled out.
okay, you guys have done FOIA, Freedom of Information request.
I've had people that have completed them and had showed me small snippets of what they've received.
What
So
have they gotten?
yes.
Anything?
Um, from what I've seen, which I actually have a friend that submitted a FOIA request, and if I'm not mistaken, he said it was about 2 months since he just got it last week, and he
Right.
submitted it that week that it happened. And I believe those are supposed to come in sooner, 1 to 2 weeks, and it's been 2 months. And so they actually sent in a whole list of all the organizations and their speakers, including mine, but I did not see the Why Islam speakers on there.
So a FOIA request shows that nobody signed any forms as far as nobody signed any forms.
Correct.
So these
From
could
what
have
I've seen.
been child molesters.
Could have been
I mean,
anybody, and they could have brought anything in.
let me yeah. And so there's supposed to be a sponsor signature. My understanding is this was the Muslim Student Association club. My understanding is they did not have an adult, they did not have an advisor at the time this happened. Is that accurate?
That, from the information that I've received, it is accurate. And the former teacher sponsor of that group was my science chemistry teacher, and
Okay.
he actually resigned due to allegations of inappropriate relationship with a student.
Well, that's
So
that's a whole other story.
I could be here all night.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot. There's a
Tip your
lot.
waitresses, try the veal. You know, that's what they say at the comedy clubs. We'll be here all night. Okay, and then second of all, we have the principal signature. Is there any way that a guest can come on, a guest speaker can come on, an adult can come on without the principal signing off on that you're aware of?
No, and actually, there's new laws this last session, the 89th session, that the House and the Senate passed on parent forums because there was groups across the state that were grooming children to change their genders without their parents'
Yep.
knowledge, and so they
Yep.
had to pass these for precaution.
Yes.
And they disregarded it completely. Under that law, these organizations cannot come on and do it to the entire school. They're confined to their club meeting space only, and to the students that have a parent signature form only.
Okay, so you believe that the principal, Tiffany Doolan, signed off on it. If you're speculating on that, but you believe she signed off on it.
If there was paperwork, she signed off on it, and if there wasn't, that's still bad because they allowed it, and she was there, and she saw it, and she was complicit
She
in
was
it.
there.
Yeah, she was looking at it perfectly.
She was there. See, I did not know that. I will be
Yes,
bringing
she was
that
there.
up. She approved.
Yes.
She approved because she was there.
Yes,
If
she
a
was, yes,
principal,
exactly. That's a form of
if
approval.
that's exactly right. Watching something and not speaking up about it when you're in charge of the entire school is complete, not tacit, complete approval, because she's in charge. She's not
Yes.
a soldier, a foot soldier. She's in charge of that whole school.
hmm
Okay, and so all they've done is punish. All they've done for allowing 4 adult Muslim proselytizers in to pass out Qurans, hijabs, understanding Sharia pamphlets. All they've done is give somebody in the front office some little, not trying to belittle somebody's position, but some little person at the front office and give them a little slap on the wrist. Is that right?
Yes, from the information I have received from students and parents, and from what I've seen, and it was one of the front desk ladies, one of the receptionists, and that was placed on leave, but it is not. Let me make it very clear: it is not on the receptionist. It is
Correct.
on the principal.
Right. And I'm not going to rest till Principal Tiffany Doolin is fired. Um,
Yes, and I want to make it. I want to make a quick point.
yeah,
There's 4 school board seats up for election this November, so we
there you
need
go.
patriots to go out and make sure we knock doors and find 4 strong conservative candidates.
What is the total amount of school board candidate members on there? Is it
I
6?
believe it's 6. I believe it's 6 or 7.
Okay, so we can flip the whole thing, and I'm going to help do that in any way I can with you.
Yes,
And
we need to.
absolutely. Now, what was in the Understanding Sharia pamphlet? Go ahead and hold that up. This is what Wylie ISD allowed to be passed out. Understanding Sharia. What was in that pamphlet? What is
So
in that
let me
pamphlet?
read you. Let me read you the very, very first sentence in the pamphlet. The newest buzzword these days is Sharia. As several states scramble to pass legislation to outlaw Sharia, a hyped fear and persistent confusion surrounds this loaded term. So the very first sentence is black or is making you seem that you're misunderstanding it. You're misunderstanding it.
Right. It's
But reading
attacking
this, you'll understand
conservatives.
it.
It's attacking
Exactly.
conservatives who are against Sharia. I have a story in here from yesterday, and I brought it up when I was teasing that you were going to be on tonight. I brought it up because I have a story that says in India, not India, in Banda Aceh, where is that? It's the largest Muslim country in the world. It'll come to me in a second. Indonesia. There was a couple that had sexual sex out of wedlock, and they were caned 100 times each. That's Sharia. That's Sharia. That is exactly what they're defending in that pamphlet and telling you is good. And they're attacking people like myself or perhaps you that
Yes.
are against Sharia law, and women are treated as half in a court of law. I had on former Republican candidate for the 32nd District of Congress in Texas, Abtin Vaziri. He's born in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
His family was Muslim, but they didn't practice it. In fact, his father hated it. He's a Christian now, and he's one of his biggest things is calling out how all these kinds of things. And he says that wearing a hijab is to cover up a woman's hair and every part of it, because if you can see some of it, then you can violate that woman, is what he says. It's not my quote, it's his quote, but I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
under Sharia. What else is in there?
Well,
Anything else interesting or no?
that first sentence, it's essentially gaslighting the reader automatically. Oh, you're misunderstanding it. You're misunderstanding it.
It's
So that's what they're
political
trying to
Islam.
do.
It's
It
political
is.
Islam.
It's
It is
propaganda as
attacking.
well.
What's that? Yes, it is.
It's propaganda. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the only law. When I saw this, I was mostly shocked because it's Sharia law, and the only dictating law in America is American law.
Correct.
Nothing else. And so, and it's not that it's just unconstitutional, it's anti-constitutional, as Congressman Self puts it. And so this really, it proves that this is not just some, oh, we're just going to pass bills to say we don't want Sharia. This is an actual threat. This is a threat. It's going into the property system. It's going now into the education system, like we've seen with
Yeah.
Epic City. And so it's going into every foundation
Of our
of
lives.
American. Yes, exactly.
I want to get into that. And by the way, so there's other incidents that happened at Wylie ISD for Islam. There was a
And
couple
Cooper
years ago
Junior
at
High as well.
Cooper Junior High. At Cooper Junior High, adult women were brought in food for Ramadan and passed out and hand out Ramadan books about how to teach Islamic students. It was books and pamphlets on how to teach Islamic students as if they should be treated and taught differently. In other words, we are telling you how to teach my child from a religious perspective, which is insane. It's insane.
Yes.
And they were feeding them, and the women were all happy. I'm sure they were. I don't know what kind of a conservative woman excuse me, would be in that lunchroom or the break room, the staff room, happy looking at all this crap. I'd be like, are you kidding me? I'd be documenting it and getting it out there, which some people did. And then separately, there was an eighth grader, a girl in eighth grade whose parents spoke out, and they yanking their three different children from they're in three different Wylie ISD schools. One's like I don't know, elementary, one's in middle, and one's in high school. The middle schooler, eighth grade girl, mom checked her book bag for something one day and saw a Quran in there. She saw a Quran, she saw Islamic or Arabic letters, and a book on how to read the Quran for younger people. And her daughter said, "Well, Mom, my this Muslim girl in my class, in the middle of class, while we're supposed to be learning and being taught, gives me a Quran, a piece of candy, gives me this book, and gives me the how to learn to write Arabic. So she says she wants to read the Quran with me. This is hyper aggressive. This is district-wide proselytizing. This is halal food.
Yes.
This is in the school. This is an absolute targeted district-wide attempt to. I mean, I'm not trying to be over the top, but it's Islamicized the district.
It is. It's Islamicizing, Islamification, all of that. It's a verb, and it's what's happening right now. And these, exactly like I said, they're not isolated incidents. And I read that Facebook post of the mom.
Yeah.
It's not like the kid went to go show her that she got all this stuff. The mom was in her backpack looking for something else and came across that. So how many other instances of this has happened that we don't even know about?
Yes, or moms that just ignored it or threw it away, or like,
yes,
that we
exactly.
don't know. That's exactly right. Let me play this for you. This is from some pieces of. This was on Newsmax last night, but I'm just going to play the part where they had some Muslim women speaking at that first school board meeting after we all found out that they were allowed to professionally proselytize in your school. This is two Muslim women, and there's a clear message in here. Let me play this first, and we'll chat about it.
Understanding tolerance. It seeks to create empathy. It supports freedom of choice, that every woman has a right to choose her attire.
There's no compulsion in conversion to Islam. No one is being asked to change their beliefs. Providing access to a religious text, any religious text, is not a safety issue.
So what they were doing, this is absolutely normal. This is nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. Providing religious texts to you, Quran, understanding Sharia, how to pray to receive Muhammad or whatever, Allah, the false god. I'm not trying to be rude or mean, but this is all totally fine. And it's DEI, it's diversity, it's inclusion, and what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Marco? Why did you object to this? That's what they're saying.
Exactly. That's what it is. And the first thing that I actually caught from that first lady that spoke at that school board meeting, the clip that you just showed, she reframed this as understanding Sharia to understanding tolerance. That is two completely different things. If anything, Sharia is not tolerant. So that's a coincidence in itself. And this is just, it's so widespread, and they're trying to gaslight you and say, you're misunderstanding it. No, we're not misunderstanding it. The students are not misunderstanding it.
That's why I wanted to ask you too, Marco. Do you think this is a widespread problem in the entire Wylie ISD district with Islamic folks trying to aggressively get into your district, proselytize, and make it much more Islamic?
We've seen it on the national level. We've seen it on the state level, specifically in Texas. This is ground zero.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it in our schools. And Wylie ISD is 100% being Islamified. And I don't know if they saw on one of the responses at this last school board meeting, they said on the halal menus, they said this is not a dietary, recommendation. This is inclusion. And so that's what they're trying to come across. So you're going to be labeled a racist, an Islamophobe, a hijabophobe, all these labels that are going to be slapped onto you when you're just standing up and pointing double standards out. And this is not just a religion. As we've seen with the Sharia Free America Caucus coming up in the United States Congress, this is a political system. This is a form of government.
I want to do a few things here. Number one, let me play this. When I confronted Principal Tiffany Dillon, let's go back a little bit. And you and I both believe wholeheartedly that she is responsible for allowing adult Islamic proselytizers, professional ones, to come in and do that to you, hand out Qurans, hijabs, and understanding Sharia pamphlets. When I went up to her gently to talk, I was barked at by this lady. I come to find out she's a retired school resource officer who is now like what does security for the school or whatever. She was barking at me like I was trying to talk to Elon Musk and like she was a celebrity and like this was like celebrity security guard or something like that. And then when I came around aside to ask Principal Tiffany Doolin the question, your principal, she hid. And so I call her the hiding principal. Let's watch this, the hiding principal. Ask me a question. This is a public building. I can ask questions. Why are you hiding? You're a public principal, Miss Doolin. Miss Doolin, why are you hiding? Did you allow those people in to preach Islam to your students? You loved World Hijab Day. Remember that? You said in all caps you loved it. Do you still love World Hijab Day? What are you afraid of? I mean, but the hiding principal, she turns and she hides.
It's a perfect representation.
So she lets Islamic adult proselytizers come in to turn you into Muslims. She's there when it happens, which is new news to me. I did not know she was there. This whole thing is insane. And then she won't answer and she turns away. And then that lady's a school resource officer. Do you know who that lady is? I forget her name. I had it written down somewhere. But the blonde lady.
I believe I've seen her, but she's never been over one of my schools.
Okay, so you just don't know. Yeah. It's unbelievable. The woman was like barking and trying to stop me from talking. This is a public building. This isn't Saddam Hussein or Mustafa Khomeini, the alleged the gay guy in charge of Iran right now. Have you heard about him?
Yes.
This is Mustafa Khomeini's school district. Yet.
Well, that's a perfect representation. They're not going to answer. They're just going to deviate and hide away.
So I want to go through some things here. I think I've gotten most of the stuff I wanted to play and show. But I wanted to go through this because I don't know if you heard, and Nashville has been doing the same thing. Nashville's a very liberal town, liberal city. And so they have been allowing some serious Islamification. I'm going to share that, and I have a second thing, and I want to juxtapose it to what you're seeing in your district, and kind of ask questions based on that. I think it'll be fascinating. And then second of all, I happen to get this great story today, column from a Muslim in the Washington Post, and it is so picture perfect about what we're talking about, what you're seeing in your district, that I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of share what this person says and ask you about what you're seeing in your district. I think it really is quite interesting. So this is Overton High School in Nashville. They changed the entire bell schedule to work around Muslim students being able to pray during Ramadan. Are you seeing anything like that in your school?
No, not that specific thing, and there may be. But from what I know, there is an Islamic prayer room that is available during lunch. And one time I actually went in thinking it was, like in the hospitals when there's a chapel,
Yeah,
and it's
a
for every
chapel.
religion.
What
I
happened?
was thinking it was something like that, and I walk in and I see, 20, 25 people of the Islamic faith, and I walk in wanting to read my Bible, and
Good.
I was there, and I was in the corner by myself, and I didn't leave. I wasn't afraid.
Right.
But I can see that they do have the Muslim prayer room during the prayer time.
Were you harassed or anything? If you were to go in there, read your Bible, and you could certainly get on your knees and pray to God, the one true God.
I haven't gone in there since I only went there one time, thinking it was an all
Okay.
religion prayer room, but I haven't been in there since the February 2nd incident.
It would be very interesting to.
Yes.
I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just saying it would be very interesting to see a student in your school go in there, like you did with your Bible,
Yes.
and just worship God and
Yeah.
in the way us Christians do, on our knees, with arms up and all sorts of stuff, not being rude, but just do it. And I'd be very interested to see how that goes, because I don't think the school district would be friendly to that. But you know what, they can take a long walk off a short pier. If there was
And
an
then,
objection.
is there one point I can make real quick?
Of course.
So, after all of this, the February 2nd incident happened, and the February 3rd, I actually missed school because of security reasons. I had friends sending me Facebook posts from or Instagram posts from students that go to my school saying I'm not going to be civil about this. And so I missed the first day back.
Wait,
I
people were
believe the next day.
students were being hostile towards you and maybe even threatening you.
Yes. Yes, it was actually so bad that I had to have a student resource officer walk with me to certain classes. I had
Oh my
threats, people
gosh.
saying they were going to wait for me at my house. Uh, I had people saying to end my life. So I had all these things that were being said to me. But I did have to have a police officer with me certain times of the days,
What
and
were these Muslim students to your knowledge?
so I do not know who they are. The only people that know who they are the people that reported these because these are people that heard people saying things or saw
Okay.
posts. I kept myself out of that because I had so much going on. I
Yeah.
let the school handle that.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate thing is that when we met with the principal, that the second morning to go over some sort of security plan, my mom just requested, "Oh, are you able to just email Marco's teacher just to keep an extra eye on him?" And I'm not gonna say any tone that she said it in, but the principal told my mom, "Well, you can." And so that is just very reflective of what their
So you were the
style of
problem. You were the problem.
exactly. And that's what it seems to be. That seems to be the pattern, unfortunately. But I've had to deal with it for 2 years now. I'm kind of used to it, which I shouldn't have to be used to
No.
it. But I've had to accept the fact that I'm going to go through the halls knowing that the principals do not like me. Not that they don't like me, but they are very hostile towards me.
Hostile towards
It's
you.
very bad. And so it's just unfortunate. I've had to accept it, but because of great patriots like you and others that have, stood up to this, it's
Right.
very comforting to know that there's other people that have the same values.
Yeah, anything that happens, take pictures, record audio because disinfectant, sunlight disinfectant is the best thing that happens. I had a guy. It's just making me think about when I had a county commissioner come up and because he didn't like what I was saying about him on the radio one day, came up and started yelling at me off the air, and I recorded it and I played it on the air. I played it for the intro of my every hour of my show. And do you
Mm-hmm.
think that guy ever yelled at me again and came after me again? No. So keep that in the back of your mind that we can get this out there, and because this is some bad stuff, and it's a bent towards Islam. Let's continue on with this. What's going on in Nashville? Because I want to juxtapose it again to what you've seen in your district at Wylie ISD and Wylie East High School. The school, so this is a Nashville high school that's doing all this stuff to accommodate Muslims. The school has also reserved space on campus where students can pray in the afternoon. You have that, right? On your school.
Correct, a prayer room in the during lunch,
So,
yes.
so look, this is going to show you how close we are to getting to where this school is, because this school is even further. They get electronic hall passes granting them permission to leave class for 15 minutes to pray. The school makes it, watch this, the school makes it such a point to make it known that it's Ramadan. A woman says in the school. She says, so do they make it a big point to let you know that it's Ramadan in your school that you're aware of? Do you see that prominently out there or no?
So since I'm so involved in my club and my baseball team, I really don't look at other organizations. I do know that the Muslim Student Association have their own forms of communication through social media. So I know
Yeah.
that they have posted flyers about Ramadan and different Islamic holidays.
What? So this person says, the school makes it such a point to make it known that it's Ramadan. What school do you know that actually changes their whole bell schedule to work around students being able to go pray? She added, I don't think the kids really even understand how important that is, or see that like, wow, my school's doing this for me. So this person's speaking as if it's a good thing,
Hmm.
and so you're not seeing any of this yet, other than the prayer rooms.
No, but that's a really good point because the pattern that we've seen is that people that are congratulating it and happy for it,
Yes,
they're just Congressman Self. I'm saying, paraphrasing what he said, they will take what you give them.
yes,
You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. They're going to keep
yes,
going. And that's what happens to civilizations. So this is not, I don't think this should be taken lightly at all. People really need to wake up. This is not just, oh, I have friends that are of the Muslim faith. It's not individuals, it's the overarching political system of
right.
radical Islam.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, There's a guy who he's on Mark Levin's show from time to time. Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. He's a Muslim that's like you call him moderate Muslim. He actually calls out all the radical Islam. He calls out the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood. He calls out CARE, all of it and every bit of it. And so there are people, like you said, that are moderate Muslims out there. This is not about attacking them. It's about attacking aggressive political Islam that does not assimilate. Now let's continue on with this. She says, oh, yeah, so here's a couple other questions. Let me go to the next part of this. Okay, this is more coverage from, this is what's going on in Nashville schools, okay, with the Islamization stuff, where I believe you're heading in Wylie ISD. Vice chair of the school board is the first Muslim elected to the board. Another endorsed by that crazy Aftin, I can't remember her last name, Afton Bennett. Yeah, that Bennett, that crazy lunatic that ran for Congress in Nashville and lost. Anyways, okay. Anyway, she's the first Muslim selected to the board. She was endorsed by Afton Ben, who spends her time celebrating World Hijab Day. This is the vice chair of the school board in Nashville. Spends her time celebrating World Hijab Day, NAACP banquets, and Colin Kaepernick. Okay. Another guy from District 3 on the school board swore in a stack of woke books instead of Bible, refers to himself as weird and woke, and he loves Colin Kaepernick. He took a photo op of that too. Another member from the school board appears to identify as Christian. She also voted for a resolution claiming that affirming gender confusion in children of all ages was proven effective mental health intervention. It's easy to wonder why any public school, this guy writes in Nashville, in America, let alone in Tennessee, could be bending over backwards to promote Islamic culture. This is the consequence of allowing radical Democrats to gain power over our education system. It will only get worse. Do you feel this kind of stuff could be next in Wylie ISD?
I do, and I would go as far to say it's happening now, not in the way that you would think. So just like the way in Washington, congressmen are, some of them are in Washington long enough that they're, paid out by lobbyists, and they're not really for their state or their constituents anymore. They're really for their lobbyists. This could
Right.
be happening right now with the school board, where they're getting influence from Islamic groups. They could be getting money, and I'm not suggesting it's happening, but I'm saying it could be happening.
Well, I mean, you
And
have a whole voting block.
correct. And there was actually a man at the school board meeting that night that ran for city council last year, a man of the Muslim faith,
Mm-hmm.
and it could have been a Freudian slip, but he said, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not saying quote for quote,
Yeah.
but he said something along the lines of I think the Muslim community or the Muslim community is thankful that we made these rules. And I have that on video, and it seems it could be a Freudian slip, but I'm suggesting that what you just read out about, these school board members either being Muslim, supporting the World Hijab Day, was swearing them on the woke books. We actually had woke books in our schools, and Katie Sims helped uncover one that happened at my school recently. So this could be on the path that we're heading on right now. I think right now we're going really fast on that path.
What the Muslim guy that ran for school board just said? What did he say? He said, you're
He
paraphrasing it, but
ran for city council last year.
and he said
It was
something like,
something along the lines of the Muslim community is thankful we were able to help out, to set these rules. I'm able to
well,
find a
yeah,
video clip of
yeah.
that
You can sense
again.
me. Rules meaning what? Like rules for what?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I think they're being very ambiguous about it.
okay.
I think it was a Freudian slip though.
This is in the Washington Post today. Muslims shouldn't have to assimilate to belong. This Muslim columnist for the Washington Post writes today, Representative Andrew Ogles from Tennessee declared last month Muslims don't belong in American society. You and I are not saying that. I'm not saying that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But Muslims who don't assimilate do not belong in American societies, is what I say. The Sharia-Free America Caucus, she writes about Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, senator, said, I'm ready to get rid of the Muslims. That's not, that's not a good thing to say. She's picking some of these things. So be it. That's fine. People say dumb things, and that's for them to deal with.
Yes.
She talked about the assimilation. She says the assimilation defense. Look how well we've integrated. I'm going to pause on this because I'm going to ask you this. In Wylie ISD, are you seeing assimilation, or are you seeing non-assimilation when it comes to Muslims?
I'm seeing assimilation, but I think it's us assimilating to their culture.
Ah. So, and it just in general, like that's a good point. In general, though, are you seeing Muslim students that are fully Americanized, or are you seeing
Um, I would say, and this is not
observations?
accurate
Yeah,
numbers, but
anecdotal.
this is just on my observation. I would say about 85% of the Islamic students I know are, I wouldn't consider Americanized. There's actually one day where, and this is not me calling it out, I'm just
No, you're
stating an
just
observation. There's certain
observations.
days where the people, I don't know, in some sort of solidarity or some celebration, where they all wear the same color hijab or they all wear the same, design. And so I think it is, a sign of their culture. And so I don't think it is 100% assimilation. And I think that we're rewarding them for not, we
Right.
are rewarding them for not assimilating by,
Yes.
doing the
We,
halal menus.
like you said, we're accommodating them, and that because listen,
Exactly.
I don't know how the halal thing works, but I don't want it served in schools, and I don't eat halal because my understanding is,
No,
I mean,
they
I'm not
actually,
eating. It's like sacrifice or something. I don't even know what it
from
is.
Yeah, they say so. From my understanding, when they do halal, they recite Bismillah Allahu Akbar, which is I know something that they recite when they do halal. And I don't think the parents of Wiley at all need that
No.
happening.
I will not eat it. I will not go to it, and I will not buy it. And that's not being nasty to them. I'm not going to support
No,
something
it's
that's
not.
antithetical to my faith, and so absolutely unequivocally no. I'll go to places that are like hotel chains or some places that are definitely
Hmm.
total leftist places. I'm not going to boycott everything in the world, but there's something I will
Correct.
not do, and that's one of them. Continuing on though. Um, this continuing on with her column, this columnist in the Washington Post today says he's saying that Islamic people shouldn't have to assimilate. Basically, Islam is also a more, she says, public religion than Christianity. So here she's excusing what you're seeing, and you should deal with it. It's a more public religion than Christianity.
Mm.
Practicing Muslims, despite being repeatedly asked to, can't disavow Sharia, even if they wanted to. She says it's roughly translated as Islamic law. She says it includes guidelines on how to pray, fast, otherwise observe what it means to submit to God. Well, again, not my God, but to God in a daily practice. So, that was an interesting thing I wanted to share with you too, saying that they can't. They have to do it public, and it's just we're the ones who aren't as public or something like
Yeah.
that. That's to me, that's
Well,
an excuse for why we need to accommodate them.
exactly. And I think I think we're really just being called dummies as Christians. We're just accepting the fact that we can get pushed off out of the public square because you can't use religion in public, but if it's Islam, it's perfectly fine.
Well, that's the thing I'll tell you too, and you know this, I'm sure, but there's a couple things. One of the ministries I've worked with over the years that I was a sponsor of mine for several years, and could be again in the near future. Kids Beats Club. They're an after-school Bible club, and because people think that you can't have faith or or, religion, if you will, in schools, you can for an after-school club, which is why there's a Muslim
Hmm.
Student Association, and the Kids Beats Club Bible Club is for third to seventh graders when they're most open to the gospel, and it's an amazing group. They're all over the country. They're based out of here. Um, so that's not what this is about. But this columnist is talking about having it open and doing it publicly, and that we have to just deal with it. Let me
Hmm.
continue on. She says a similar demand is directed at Latinos about assimilating. Well, that's absolutely true. And Latinos, it's not about their religion. Latinos, it's
Yeah.
the same thing. If you come here from Mexico, learn the language. If you come
Yeah,
here
my
from Guatemala, go
yeah,
ahead.
my grandma's from Guatemala. On my dad's side, because I'm half Hispanic.
Yeah,
On my dad's side, my grandpa came from Mexico. My grandma came from Guatemala,
yeah,
and they've started a restaurant in Louisville that's been thriving for 20 years
nice. I
now.
got to go
And
there.
so
Yeah.
that's what the American dream is about: coming here, learning the language, learning the culture, accepting that, and then moving forward.
Yeah. And so this is the argument that no, you shouldn't have to assimilate if you're Muslim. She says assimilation tends to mean secularization. Assimilation tends to mean secularization, and that is so false. Let me ask you this: your grandparents, are they folks of faith? Do they practice faith?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Have they assimilated?
Yes. Well,
Did they
they
give
were
up their
already
faith? Did they stop practicing their
no,
faith?
they didn't have to
Have they
give it
hidden
up.
it? Have they had to hide it when they came here?
No.
She's saying that assimilation tends to mean secularization. So,
No, if anything, it's the opposite. Especially here
that's
in America, we're built on a Christian foundation in
yes,
America.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, and
Yeah.
this fits in well with what we're talking about today. I really do think so. She says you can stay, but you have to become less yourself. She's talking about how, with the assimilation thing, about what she feels that people are telling Muslims. You can stay, but you have to become less yourself. The specifics of your faith and culture, the things that make your community a community rather than a collection of individuals, are treated as obstacles. Well, that's total BS, because you know what? Well, I have pictures. I've shown them on the podcast. There's Muslim street signs by Epic
Well,
Mosque.
yeah, it's there. It's there. So the Epic Mosque is actually the neighborhood, just like in Wylie, Saxe area would be called Woodbridge
Yes,
or Bozeman Farms or whatever. It's called Medina Vilas,
that's
and
exactly right.
Medina is the city that Muhammad supposedly received the prophecy, and so
Yes.
it's not a civilization at all. They're trying to name their neighborhoods after Islamic cities and proclamations. They're trying to name their street signs after people that murdered Christendom, people from Christendom, and so this is a widespread. It's in every institution,
I
education, property, finances. One of the epic places actually says Islamic finances. What does that even mean?
Well, look at this. I got a couple things. Here's some of the street names. Um, I'm gonna make sure. Here we go. Salma Jamid and Hafila Drive is one intersection. Another one is Amal Sela and Mahmoud Igal. That's an intersection, cross street. And then I got Medina Villas. I put this up on my stuff. That's the actual street sign right there on my phone that I have.
Yes,
And
and they have their own market and everything, and
and that's fine if they want to have a Muslim market,
yeah,
but the whole a
exactly.
neighborhood is completely Islamic. I mean, it's completely totally Islamic. There's no
I
integration whatsoever.
Well, I feel like it brings back to the point of if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Because first they got these contracts to be able to have the original Epic. Now they wanted to open up a second Epic in Josephine. So
Yeah,
when was it going to stop? I heard there was an Egyptian fella that had about 63 LLCs throughout the state. What's going on?
yeah. Well, here's one more thing too to
And
show.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got in Houston, and I put this up on my podcast the other day. In Houston, I'm gonna pull this up. It's juxtaposed. There's two. They have on for Easter, this past Easter. They put up a post. Important announcement. Spring. Here we go. Spring holiday. City of Houston. Friday, April 3rd.
Spring
Spring holiday.
holiday.
And then, but on Eid al Fitr, if I'm pronouncing that correct, it says right there. It says Happy Eid al Fitr. So you have you
How
can't
dare
see
you
them.
say Easter?
Yeah. So it says City of Houston spring holiday on Eid al Fitr. It's got the whole mosque and the minarets, and it says Happy Eid al Fitr. So that is the city of Houston, the actual largest city in the state of Texas. Even though our metropolitan area is bigger than Houston, their city is the
Yeah.
largest.
Well,
So
and then I don't know if you saw the principal down in Houston where they shipped the students off to the local mosque.
yes, yes.
So this is like it just brings it culminates all together with this widespread effort of big parent organizations with smaller parent organizations, and then it keeps going down to the local level, and it's literally widespread. It's coming back every time it comes back to the school board and to Principal Tiffany Doolin. It falls on them.
This is also in the Houston area. This is spring. I can't remember the exact ISD, but here it goes. Ramadan decor set up in the lobby of an elementary school in Houston by the PTA Cultural Committee, quote unquote. It's a school district that does not allow, per school board policy, religious symbols to be displayed. Yet somehow decorations for Ramadan were put up there on Friday. It was Go Texan Day, a day that let me see here, a day where Texas, they celebrate their pride. Texas Pride kickoff rodeo season. Parents are often invited to come to the school to watch their kids dance. Imagine walking into the school for Go Texan Day and you see this decor saying, Ramadan Mubarak, greeting you. That's another public school. So it's wild. It is absolutely wild. I'm going to finish these last couple. I have a couple more questions, and we'll wrap. But this Muslim columnist today, saying assimilation is not what Muslims should have to do. In the Washington Post today, you say you can stay, but you have to become less yourself. The specifics of your faith and culture, the things that make your community a community rather than a collection of individuals, are treated as obstacles. You can stay, but you have to become less yourself. Let me go to the next part. The question, she says, ending her column in the Washington Post today. The question isn't whether Muslims, Jews, or Latinos change. They will. The question is whether America will let them do it on their own terms. But that's not this, is it? That's not
No.
That's not what we're seeing here and we're talking about in Wylie ISD, is it?
No.
No, so it is not.
And it keeps going back to give them an inch, they'll take a mile on their own terms. What does that mean? We've been seeing them do their own terms, and we see what happens when they do on their own terms.
Let me also mention this. And this is going back to and this is in Breitbart today about the Nashville school that I mentioned that's allowing the Islamization. I got people that are cooking in the other freaking room, and we tell them that it's unbelievable. I'll just keep going.
No, you're good.
Isn't that great? This whole side of the house is an addition, and so all the new fire alarms and everything, and so they use the air fryer, and it doesn't matter what you do, it sets it off. I'm not happy, but that's okay. All right, so let me just go back to this from Breitbart covering this today with the Nashville School Board. The American Muslim Advisory Council sent a letter to the school district. I'm going to strangle somebody over there. The American Muslim Advisory Council sent a letter to the school district asking teachers to support Muslim students during Ramadan. So the American Muslim Advisory Council sent letters to the school district saying support Muslim students during Ramadan by giving them a special space for lunch and allowing them to skip heavy.
What? What organization?
The American Muslim Advisory Council sent a letter to the school district in Nashville asking them to support Muslim students during Ramadan by giving them a special space for lunch. That's insane. And allowing them to skip heavy physical activity while fasting. It's a Muslim's right to fast and receive reasonable accommodations at school, the letter reportedly read. This is insanity. I mean, you're making like a cloistered Muslim section of the lunchroom. That is insane.
Well, yeah, it all comes together. It's like I said, Wylie IST is on the same path because that letter says special. The word they're using in Wylie ISD is inclusive, but it all comes together.
Yeah.
And
let me read a little bit more.
And yeah.
This is continuing from Breitbart. The report showed, this is a report from Fox News about John Overton High School in Nashville that we've been talking about. They offer food-free classrooms. This is insane. Food-free classrooms to Muslim students who are fasting during Ramadan. So this is not assimilation. This is I'm fasting. You can't eat.
Yeah.
This is where you're headed. I think this is insane.
If it was for Lent for Catholic students, I don't think they would do the same thing.
This is insane. I'm fasting. You can't eat in front of me. This is, go ahead.
No, it gets out of hand. It really is. I mean, I've heard of instances. I know people that work in, retail, and I've heard their stories, living and working in Collin County where their coworkers shame them for eating in front of them. Why is this happening? It's just, it's unbelievable.
I had, my daughter is 19, and she's got a friend the same age, obviously. She works she's a professional hairdresser now, hairstylist, whatever, but she worked at a Muslim grocery or Muslim store or some kind of like grocery store or something, or restaurant. And I said, did they treat you as a young woman like cattle? And I'm not trying to be, and she said, yes, they absolutely treated me like cattle, the men and the way that she was treated. I'm like, oh my gosh. Here's the last point on this, okay? And this is what I want to close on. The U.S. Department of Education released a guidance in February for prayer in public schools, saying schools should allow students to act and speak according to their faith as long as everyone's rights are respected and the school is not pushing religion or favoring one over the other. That is the U.S. Department of Education. I'm going to ask you right now, are they favoring one religion over another in your school?
Yes, Islam.
Well, then I submit to you that there's a legitimate complaint to the U.S. Department of Education that you guys should that this should be pursued, because they are obviously favoring Islam over you. They have not allowed people like myself to come in, or from your church or mine, to proselytize, and no one's been fired, no one's been punished. So there's a complete disparity, you believe?
Correct. Yes.
That is the United States Department of Education complaint right there. Anything else you want to say as we wrap up, my friend?
So this past Monday, I was at the GOP precinct meeting, and I don't know if you know who Frank Gaffney is.
The name is very, very familiar.
He worked under the Reagan administration, and now
Okay.
his sole purpose, or his sole, goal is to shine light on the Islamification of the United States. And this was actually from the Holy Land Foundation, and I believe it was one of the transcripts put together what they found.
Yes.
And it's called the Explanatory Memorandum of the Muslim Brotherhood in America. I
Yes.
encourage the listeners to get a copy of this and read it and understand the plans, because it's coming here, it's already here, and people need to wake up to it.
Let me talk to you about that. My first introduction to the Holy Land Foundation was when I was a talk show host. I came here in 2010, and still am, and it was in my first year or two. I don't know when it was. And there was a story about the Holy Land Foundation, and something was mentioned in passing in one of the articles, and it shocked the heck out of me. I didn't believe it until I double-checked it and I read it. So you have a group called the Holy Land Foundation in Richardson, Texas, very close to where I'm at. And they were raising money under the auspices of aid to Palestinians. But what it was is terrorism fundraising. And they raised $5 to $7 million to kill Jews, pretending it was to help Palestinians. In fact, after 9/11 happened, George Bush and Congress passed this law to go after this. And so this was the first and biggest case, and to this very date in 2026 is the largest terrorism fundraising case in United States history, right here in the Metroplex. Could have been anywhere in the country. And several people from the Holy Land Foundation were convicted, and they went to jail, and they're still in jail for decades for terrorism fundraising. The FBI testified, and the Department of Justice testified, that CARE is an unindicted co-conspirator in that case. CARE was in a hotel room in Boston meeting with the Holy Land Foundation, talking about how we need to have ways of jihad, a nonviolent jihad, where we use the freedoms and the laws of this land and the press to turn this country against itself for our cause. And that is exactly what, and then here's another thing, that's exactly what I learned. It was shocking to me back then. And the other thing that I learned is that CARE, I only found this one out about in the past year, CARE sued, later on would sue to try to get their name removed by a judge as an unindicted co-conspirator, and the judge said, no, absolutely not. And they are, and they always will be, an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest ever terrorism fundraising case in U.S. history. It's remarkable. It's remarkable that anybody gives them the time of day. Yeah, any last comments?
So it's a big web. It's ICNA, it's CARE, it's the Muslim Brotherhood. It's a big web, and it's furthermore evidence as to why the Principal Wylie should be fired for her knowledge and complicity in an organization walking in the school with 4 adults with Sharia from terrorist organizations.
Well, I'm going to be bringing that up at the school board meeting at the next one, which is coming up the 20th of this month. I think it's a Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
Monday the 20th, yes.
Yeah. So we'll all be there, and I'm going to speak out. I did not know this, that Tiffany Doolin was right there and saw this professional adult proselytization, and they were not stopped. They were not told to be removed. And that's complete approval. And then also Assistant Principal Mrs. George was there. These people need to be fired. There is just no other way to look at it. Marco Hunter Lopez, you got a huge future ahead of you. I'm grateful for you to come on today, and I'm glad we got to talk about this story that has just blown up, and it was blown up again. I couldn't believe you were on Newsmax again last night. Isn't it funny though? Like, it's like, where have you guys been for the past 2 months? But they covered it last night, huh?
I know it was just kind of it went up, it kind of plateaued, and it's kind of going back up because I
Yeah.
think people are starting to officially wake up.
Yeah, people learning anew. And it was funny, the speech, and I'm not going to play the little speech that I gave the first time, and it went viral and stuff like that. And some of the other speeches went viral.
You did not use the S word.
All right, I'll play it. Then I'll play it because this is so stupid. And so yeah, so somebody and I know that okay, so I gave my speech. Somebody saw it or pulled it and cut it up and put it in a different order than actually I gave the speech, which I don't care per se. But then when I said Sharia treats women like cattle, and I said these women are
Yes.
not cattle. Somebody, whoever
Yes.
cut that up, bleeped out when I said cattle both times, as if I said the word the S word, which I did not say, and everybody knows that. But I'll play it real fast 'cause it's so funny. It is so funny, and that went viral. Okay, so wait. So, I can't remember. So one of my buddies told me, "Look at you, you're viral," and he said, "You're on Libs of TikTok, you're on Wall Street Apes, you're on all these accounts that have millions of followers." And then a little bit later, my dad calls me. He says, I'm watching you I'm watching you. He's sitting in in their home in Chicago. He's like, I'm watching you on Newsmax right now.
Yes.
And then a little later,
Oh, it's
one of my former colleagues from my old radio station here says, Mark Levin is playing your audio. I'm like, what the heck is this?
oh man.
You don't know. And then stuff that you think, just from my professional career over the years, things you think are going to go viral don't, and what you don't know. So you just do your job. Here,
Yes,
let me play.
exactly.
I'll play this real fast. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. Where did it go? Hold on. It's so funny. Now I can't find it. There it is. Okay, here we go.
America is a Christian nation.
Amen.
The principal, 1 year ago, the principal on the same day, World Hijab Day, wore that hijab and said she loved it, all caps. 1 year to the day later, on World Hijab Day, Sunday, Monday hits, they're putting our girls in Sharia. They're passing out Sharia pamphlets, hijabs, Qurans, understanding Islam, understanding Sharia. Sharia treats half of this room like and these women are not. This is not a Muslim nation. This is a Christian nation. That principal knew what she was doing, and I am not believing that was one or two people at that front desk. Fired the principal. You tell the parents, don't go online to get information, but what did they get online? Marco told the truth. That's where they got the information, and you did. Online. Telling us not to go there. This was dawah. Muslim proselytizing. Dawah. It's like me as a Christian going into a school and witnessing to these kids. You want me to do that? Let's go.
So there it was. Yeah, and our friend Kyle Katie Sims says, be sure to read all the comments on the video. These fools are some sick people and still making false claims. I don't know if he's talking about the one from when I spoke out at the last one or whatever, but we kind of covered that, and they're covering their butts and they're explaining it away, excusing it away, and they're refusing to hold anybody accountable. But we're going to hold them accountable, and I'm going to be talking to you and your dad and others about maybe setting up something where we could pass out Bibles in the closest way possible to that school, because we need to do the same thing. And well, at least I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm saying, we're going to do the same thing, and in the closest possible way to that school, because it needs to happen to show this ain't gonna happen. So I will gladly work on that with you if you and your dad are interested. Marco Hunter Lopez, great future ahead, a great young man, and thank you. And I will see you at the school board meeting on April 20th at 5:45 p.m. Wylie ISD School Board.
Yes. Perfect.
Great job, young man.
And then thank you. Reminder for the viewers. Verdi Montgomery's up for re-election. Jacob Day's up for re-election. Stacey Smith's up for re-election. And I believe that's it. So we're going
say it again?
to make sure Verdi Montgomery, Jacob Day, Stacey Smith.
There's one more.
And Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Those are the four up this November.
We got to
And
flush them
then,
out.
yes, and obviously, we're calling for the principal, Tiffany Dillon, to be fired.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. Fire Tiffany Doolin. She was there. She saw it. She's complicit. And Miss George was there and saw it and was complicit. Thank you very much, Marco Hunter Lopez. You have a wonderful future. You're a great young man. I'm very proud of you, as I'm sure your parents are. Great job.
Thank you. Have a blessed night.
You too, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. That was good. That was a lot of fun. And he's a great kid. I specifically wanted to spend a lot of time with him to tell the full story and let it breathe. And so I'm glad he did. And I will be there at the school board meeting, and I urge you to join us there on April 20th, Monday at 5:45 p.m. Let me do some other things that are going on in the news. Frisco ISD track meet returns 1 year after fatal stabbing. This from the Dallas Express today. Austin Metcalf was stabbed and murdered by a man who said he did it, Carmelo Anthony, who's 17, who sits right now, as you know, on an ankle monitor on $250,000 bond in his house. He admitted to doing it, according to the reports and the police report and all that kind of stuff. With the most disgusting thing to me, if you don't remember, this is at a track meet at Frisco, I'm going to butcher the name, Kukendall Stadium in Frisco, in the bleachers. Memorial High School athlete Austin Metcalf was, there was a small thing about, well, first of all, the students were told, don't let anybody under our tent for track because people steal stuff all the time. Now comes Carmelo Anthony, according to the reports, and he tries to take something reportedly out of Austin Metcalf's bag. Austin Metcalf says, get out of here, and then reportedly that what's his name? Carmelo Anthony then allegedly, come on, let's go out. You want to go at something of that nature? And then Austin pushes him, and then Carmelo Anthony reaches into a bag, according to the reports, and plunges a knife into Austin Metcalf's chest, murdering him. His brother held him in his arms as he died. And I'm going to tell you what's disgusting, because today is the 1 year anniversary of the murder. And the story is Frisco ISD track meet returns 1 year after the fatal stabbing. And first of all, they moved to a different school because they didn't want to have it at the same place. What in God's name is wrong with you? Are we raising a generation of pansies? Have it at the same place. Number two, but at the heart of everything on this story is really one thing. If you only remember one thing on this. I was covering day in and day out Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf's family and how much they were fundraising. And I was disgusted how much the woke left and the BLM, Marxist, godless communist, race hustlers were donating to a guy who said he killed him. And he made more money from fundraising than Austin Metcalf's family has. And guess what? The Dallas Express checked it today. And I'm disgusted to say that he still has pulled in more money on his account than Austin Metcalf's family. There is a $19,000 difference. Austin Metcalf, his family, has received $19,000 less from donations than Carmelo Anthony's family has. It is a vile, sick situation that we live in when people are going to donate more money to a man who says, I did it. It's also disgusting to many people that he graduated. He was allowed to graduate. He graduated, Dallas Express says, in May of last year from Frisco Centennial High School with a 3.7 GPA after completing all required credits. However, not allowed to participate in graduation ceremonies or senior activities due to the district policy regarding serious criminal charges. Not me. When I was in high school, I got into a lot of trouble. I mean, not bad stuff, but I was getting in trouble. And the school district surprised me. My mom actually went along with it. She surprised me with them. They said, we got a meeting. My mom says, you know what this is about? I said, no. We go to the meeting. At this time, I'm a senior in the first semester. And we go to this meeting, and the school says, Chris, it's probably in the middle of the first semester, first half of the year, my senior year. Chris, you have enough credits to graduate. If you got two options. You can graduate a semester early, and we will allow you to walk in the graduation ceremony, Or if you want to stay for the second semester or the second half of the year, you're going to be going to the bad boy school. And I was shocked. I was like, this isn't me. This isn't who I am. And, after I don't know if I cried in there, but I cried shortly thereafter a lot. And that didn't happen to Carmelo Anthony. He was allowed to graduate. He wasn't sent to the bad boy school. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's fear of being called a racist, fear of all that crap is absolutely vile. And it's sick, though, because Austin Metcalf's family, Jeff Metcalf, the father, said his son had a 4.0 GPA. So there you take that, Carmelo Anthony. He only had a 3.7. He had a 4.0 before you admitted to plunging a knife in his chest. But literally, the Metcalf family has 19 grand less fundraised than Carmelo Anthony. That is a sick statement in our society. Those are the same fools that think OJ was innocent. And, OJ in death is still looking for the killer. Yeah, my butt. They moved the event from the stadium today to Little Elm, Lobo Stadium, to which I wrote, why? Why? Teach your children to be wimps, to run away? Carmelo Anthony is charged with first-degree murder. Quote, this is what the court document says. Quote, I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hands up in the air, the officer said, about Carmelo Anthony after the murder. I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hand up in the air. During this time, the suspect said verbally out loud, I was protecting myself. He knew he was guilty as soon as he did it. The suspect also told the officer, he put his hands on me. If you don't have imminent fear of death or great bodily harm, you cannot use deadly force. His trial is set to begin in Collin County on June 1st. I will be going there. He faces 5 to 99 years in prison. Put him in prison for 99 years. It's too bad we can't put him in the ground if he's convicted. He already admitted to it, but... speaking of putting somebody in the ground, the FedEx driver who murdered Athena Strand, she was 7 years old. She weighed 67 pounds. He weighed 250 pounds. He murdered her, admitted to killing her. He said he strangled her to death. He lied and said in rural Wise County that when he delivered a package of Barbies that she was getting for Christmas. In fact, the name of the Barbie gift is very important because it's just so disgusting what it was called and what happened to her. I think it's, here, You Can Be Anything Barbies. You can be anything Barbies. You can be anything until a sick murderer kills you. And remember, the former sheriff of Wise County said they did find evidence of a sexual assault on her. She was naked when they found her body. He kept the clothes. That's in the story today from the testimony. They're still deciding whether to put him in the ground or to give him life. Please pray that the jury in Tarrant County, doing it because Wise County was too much, they thought that was too prejudicial, so they moved it to Tarrant County. Pray that this jury in Tarrant County, who has to listen to the audio, he covered up the camera when he was murdering her, but it still recorded it. They had to listen to her being strangled to death. And the DA said, you're going to see, I think in the opening statements of the punishment phase, which is death or not, he said, you're going to see what a 250-pound man can do to a 67-pound 7-year-old girl. The murderer told a Texas Ranger how the first grader struggled and tried to kick him as he choked her in the back of his delivery truck. Did she scream? She wasn't able to, he said. He was wearing a striped jail uniform. This is during the investigation when they had him in custody. Wearing a striped jail uniform, he told the Texas Ranger he would be willing to tell him everything and plead no contest to the charges he faced if he was allowed to go home to his family for a month and spend one last Christmas with his 1-year-old son. He said he'd be willing to kill her. He'd be willing to wear an ankle monitor and follow any other required security measures. If you get me a month with my family so I can have Christmas with my son, I'll tell you everything. The Texas Ranger said he asked the killer if he was remorseful. I'm a father. I took away something from someone, but asked what he would say to Athena's family, little Athena's family. He sat silent for a while. After repeatedly pressed for an answer, he said, I don't know what I would say. He lied and said the worst crime he ever committed in interrogations was marijuana, smoking marijuana. No, a 16-year-old says you raped her, in 2013. That came out during all this. That's a separate case that's being prosecuted. This from the Star-Telegram. FBI finds, this was the testimony from the FBI at 4 p.m. today. FBI finds Athena's clothes at Horner's home, the killer's home. They testified about finding, the FBI did, about finding items of Athena's clothing scattered among trash behind the shed where he was living. Photos of several clothing items were shown to the jury, including her socks, her underwear, and her blue jeans, which were embroidered with pink flowers on front pockets. This makes me want to put a fist through a wall. The ranger asked the killer whether he sexually assaulted her. He says he's 98% sure that he didn't, and then pauses to say, I'm halfway thinking about a cigarette right now. Then he says, I haven't seen anything in my dreams or anything like that about sexual assault. Remember, the former Wise County Sheriff said there was evidence of sexual assault. The ranger asks the killer if he took her clothes to humiliate her, the 7-year-old. He says he doesn't seem to give a clear answer. The killer said while he's being interrogated, I'm not some deranged psychopath. I'm not some criminal. I'm autistic. B to the S. We're going to put you in the ground, I pray. Also from the Daily Mail coverage. Just get in the back of during the court hearing Thursday, the killer said, this is from I think when he's being interrogated. He said he told Athena Strand, quote, just get into the back of the van. We're going to go to the hospital, before he strangled her to death. That's that eerie, horrifying picture that we see right here. You see of her in the back of his van. That sick, sick bastard, excuse my language, that needs to be put in the ground. Her tortured final moments, the Daily Mail says, were captured by a microphone in his vehicle after he covered a camera inside. A beautiful sweetheart. That beautiful little sweetheart. And then SOB. That SOB. Jurors were warned they must still endure graphic evidence of the little girl's final moments so they can decide on appropriate punishment. Pray that they do the right thing. I want to remind you real quick, as Christians, or at least as a Christian, the Bible is very clear that death penalty is an appropriate punishment. It's not an eye for an eye. That's Old Testament. Jesus came and the Old Testament pointed to him in the New Testament. In Romans 13:1, St. Paul, the most prolific author of the New Testament, writes in Romans 13:1, it's a short chapter, read it. He says, if you obey the laws of the land, you have nothing to fear, but if you disobey the laws of the land, you have every reason to fear because God installed the government and God gave the government a sword for a reason. The capital punishment, the death penalty, is not for recidivism. It doesn't stop people from committing crimes. It's not for saving money. It doesn't save money. It costs more money with appeals. It's not for any reason other than it's appropriate justice to be meted out by people who have no hunt in the game. They are not emotionally involved, and they are making a sober decision to put somebody like this in the ground. And that's what I beg and ask. Trump says he denies. I'm still not happy. Look, there's a with Iran, there's a possibility that that Trump might come back in a day or two or three or a week and hammer him and finish the job. I want him to do that. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not happy with this declaring victory and wrapping it up. And today, the Iranians, the RSCG, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, is taking tolls and telling people go this way by this island because if you go this way, there's mines. And they're charging $1 per barrel of oil, and large carriers, oil rigs carry, or large oil tankers carry 2 million barrels. $2 million for one tanker to pass. And they're going to use it all to build up their army, to build up everything, to come kill us and others again with more of a vengeance, and to make nuclear bombs because they want to end the world, apocalyptic, because they're just like Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. They're terrorists who want to die while they're killing us to usher in the 12th Imam and to have their 72 virgins. Here's your evidence. The 9/11 report said that the terrorists for 9/11 were allowed safe passage through Iran to come kill us. They were also provided documents and passports by Iran. Right now, the top Al-Qaeda member used to be bin Laden. We got him. There used to be Ayman al-Zawahiri. We got him. I think in Afghanistan, we droned him. Now the guy that's below Ayman al-Zawahiri, who's running Al-Qaeda, is living in Iran. Osama bin Laden's son, the heir apparent, is living in Iran. Get the message? Trump says he denies from Daily Mail today he declared premature victory in Iran and warns Tehran will better not be charging takers a toll at the Strait of Hormuz. They are. The Wall Street Journal suggesting Tehran was still a threat to the strait and may retain enriched uranium. Actually, until Trump attacked them. Actually, it is a victory and there's nothing premature about it. Because of me, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. They will in 5-10 years if you don't finish the job, sir. You'll see oil start flowing quickly with or without the help of Iran and me. Trump, in a separate truth post, said there are reports that Iran is charging fees to tankers to go through the Hormuz Strait. They better not be, and if they are, they better stop now. Now, the editorial board of Wall Street Journal also said this: freedom of navigation has been a bedrock U.S. principle for centuries. China would be very pleased to start charging a toll and control the Strait of Taiwan, or the Straits of Taiwan. There's actually two straits there, whereas the Strait of Hormuz is one strait. The next test for Mr. Trump will be whether he takes his 2-week ceasefire deadline seriously. If he does and Iran plays its usual games, then he will finish the job. And that's my prayer that happens. I hope he finishes the job. He has to. Otherwise, this to me was all for naught, because eventually they'll be able to do what they wanted to do to begin with. The U.S. is set to send J.D. Vance and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. That's fine, but I like what I heard today. I heard a retired general, I can't remember his name. I know his voice. He's really, really good. He said that General Jack Keane should be sent in there, who's also a Fox News contributor. General Jack Keane is awesome. He says he will come in there and boom, boom, boom. Speaking of Islamists and Islamic terrorism, today, Fox News' Bill Melugin reporting this, and I'm going to give you the details on the story. Border Patrol agents caught and arrested 4 British nationals entering the U.S. illegally in a remote part of Maine after crossing in from Canada. Here are their names. Ready? Muhammad Ali Abdullah, Hamid Muhammad Nagi, Ibrahim Ayib Khan, and Muhammad Sultan Saleh. From the report in the Robinson report today, one of them captured the whole thing on GoPro cameras. One of the Islamic guys from Great Britain, narrating a celebration as the group set foot on American soil. When questioned about their citizenship, all 4 told the agents they were British citizens. They claimed they didn't know they'd entered the U.S., a claim the GoPro recording revealed to be a lie. Are they terrorists? Let me tell you this. Do you know who took over the Colleyville Synagogue? You remember the Colleyville Synagogue with the terrorist? He flew in from Great Britain. He bought a gun illegally on the streets of South Dallas, and he went to Colleyville Synagogue and took over a Jewish synagogue and held him at gunpoint live, because the services are streamed, and saying, you're going to free Lady Al-Qaeda, who was caught on the battlefield in Afghanistan with biological weapons. You're going to free Lady Al-Qaeda, and the Jews control everything, is what he said. The first thing that was under Biden. The first thing, our disgraced former head of the FBI Dallas office, Matt DeSarno, now retired, disgraced former FBI agent. The first thing he said to everybody was, this is not Islamic terrorism. This is not terrorism. Attention, I repeat, this is not terrorism. And that's exactly what it was. The woke left FBI, the same woke left FBI who right after the mayor of New Orleans said this is a mayor of New Orleans or the police chief of New Orleans, one of them, I think it was the mayor, said this is an act of terrorism. And then a moment later, this woke leftist FBI head of New Orleans office with a nose ring, which is against FBI policy, came out and said this is not terrorism, like a moment later in that press conference. That's the woke left. They are a threat to our security. One more thing. This is great. Got it on a high note. Hunter Biden has quietly bolted from the United States, says the Daily Mail, and is living overseas as he claims he has $17 million in debt and can't pay his lawyers. Hunter Biden quietly pulled up stakes and left the country amid claims he has $17 million in debt and living overseas, the Daily Mail can reveal. New legal findings submitted by his attorney, where the first son is being sued by his former attorneys Winston and Strawn, and that's a power law firm. That's great. What a bum. Once a bum, always a bum. Deadbeat dad. Sick guy, just like his pappy. I've enjoyed this show. I hope you have too. This show is brought to you by IRSprob.com. That's IRSPROB.com. Helping good people with IRS problems. Specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. Randy Martin's my CPA for my business and my wife's business, and he should be yours. I will see you mañana.